and welcome to American Top 40. I'm Sonny Melendrez, sitting in for Casey Kasem, who's on vacation this week. And while Casey's working on his tan, I'll be counting down the 40 most popular songs in America for you. We've got 4 debut songs in the survey, hits by some of the biggest and most important recording artists in the business, and a brand new #1 song. A lot of chart action and a lot of great music. So let's get the countdown rolling right here with the first of our debuts.
Number 40.
Well, this is the first top 40 record in 4 years by one of the biggest groups of the rock era. Their last hit was Automatically Sunshine back in '72. This week, the Supremes debut in the anchor position on American Top 40 with their latest, I'm Gonna Let My Heart Do the Walking. At number 40, first week on the countdown, those are the Supremes with their latest, I'm Gonna Let My Heart Do the Walking. By the way, there was Sherry Payne singing lead. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem on American Top 40. And at number 39, we have our second debut song. It's by James Taylor, who got all the way up to number 5 a year ago with his last chart hit, How Sweet It Is. This one's called Shower the People.
You can play the game and you can act out the part.
James Taylor on American Top 40. Showing up first week on the survey at number 39. That's Shower the People. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. And coming up is an AT40 Extra for rock and roll connoisseurs. It's a top 10 smash from 1963, sung by one of the most important vocal groups of the rock era. Written by 2 of the most successful writing teams in rock history, with background vocals by Dionne Warwick and featuring electric guitar solos by super rock producer Phil Spector.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
Well, the countdown continues with a song that's been on our survey for 3 weeks and appears to be peaking. At number 38 for the second week in a row, here's Donny Osmond.
Oh, here I am.
At number 38 and holding, that's Donny Osmond and Come On Marianne. This is Sonny Melendrez, sitting in for Vacationing Casey Kasem, and we're up to the third of our debut songs now. It's by a brand new group from Los Angeles, 5 men who call themselves Silver. Coming in at number 37, here's Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang. Debuting at number 37 with their first chart hit, that's a group called Silver and Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang. This is a person called Sonny Melendrez for Vacationing Casey Kasem, and it's time now for our AT40 Extra. It's one for rock and roll connoisseurs. It was a top 10 smash sung by one of the most important vocal groups in the history of rock music, and written by 2 of the top writing teams of early rock and roll, Mann and Weil and Leiber and Stoller. It all started back in the early 60s when Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil wrote a song for the group The Crystals. It was included on an album by the group, produced by the legendary Phil Spector. Then, in 1963, the successful writing and producing team of Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller wrote some new lyrics for the song and produced a single version that has become a rock classic. The group who sing the song are the Drifters, and doing background vocals are Doris Troy, Cissy Houston, Dee Dee Warwick, and her sister, Dionne Warwick. And if that list of credits isn't heavy enough for you, get this. The electric guitar solos you hear on the record were done by super producer and very distinctive rock personality, Phil Spector. Right now, as an AT40 Extra, let's hear that rock classic. Here are the Drifters with On Broadway.
They say the neon lights are
From 1963, a top 10 smash by the Drifters, On Broadway. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and the biggest hits in the nation are yet to come as we count them down on our way to a brand new #1 song.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
And now, the highest debuting record of the week on AT40 by an artist whose last record peaked at number 38 on the survey. It was called It's Over. This one's called Lowdown. At number 36, here's Boz Scaggs. What an easy sound that is. That's Boz Scaggs from San Francisco. And debuting at 36 on American Top 40, Lowdown. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and now a group from San Francisco. At 35, up 4, here's Dr. Hook, and I'm gonna love you a little bit more.
When your body's had enough of me and of me.
When you think I've loved you all I can, I'm gonna love you a little bit more. That's Dr. Hook with number 35 on American Top 40 this week. And this is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. Coming up, the supergroup from Illinois who hold the record for near misses. They've had more top 10 songs without ever hitting number one than any other group in the rock era.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
American Top 40 is heard coast to coast and around the world on great radio stations like WAAY, Huntsville, Alabama, KVOK, Kodiak, Alaska, KBBC, Phoenix, Arizona, and KTSA, San Antonio, Texas. At number 34 now, falling 14, here's Andrea True and the oldest song in the countdown, More, More, More. That's Andrea True on American Top 40. Falling to number 34, a great disco song called More, More, More. We'll try dancing to this by the Ohio Players. It's up to 33. Here's Hoochie Coo.
Are you ready?
A seven-man group from Ohio called the Ohio Players. Moving up 2 this week on American Top 40, that's Hoochie Coo. And this is Sonny Melendrez. Now, the latest hit by a supergroup from Illinois who hold the record for near misses. They've had more top 10 songs without ever hitting number one than any other group in the rock era. Since they first began charting back in 1969, they've run up a total of 10 top 10 songs, including popular hits like Make Me Smile, Just You and Me, Old Days, and I've Been Searching So Long. But in the 7 years since their first appearance on the pop chart, they've never had a number one song. The closest they've come was their big number 3 hit in 1972, Saturday in the Park, which gives Chicago the unusual distinction of having more top 10 hits without ever making it to number one than any other group in the rock era. This week, they're at number 32 with their latest. Here's Chicago. Moving up a notch at number 32 this week, that's Chicago, and another rainy day in New York City. This is Sonny Melendrez, and you're hearing the 40 best-selling songs in the nation on American Top 40.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
And the countdown rolls on. Falling from number 18 to 31, here's John Travolta and Let Her In.
I'm different today. Hey, hey.
Well, that's John Vinnie Barbarino Travolta with a song that got up to number 10 a couple of weeks ago. This week, it's number 31 on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and here's a group that had a big chart hit in 1975 called Lowrider. It got up to number 7. This time, they're at number 30 with their latest. Here's War and Summer.
Riding round town.
Up 10 big notches from last week. At number 30, that's War and Summer. This is Sonny Melendrez, and you're hearing the hottest hits in the country on American Top 40 as the countdown goes on.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
American Top 40 is heard every week, not only throughout these 50 United States, but also on foreign stations from Japan to Costa Rica and almost everywhere else in the world on American Forces Radio. Hello to all of you. I'm Sonny Melendrez, and our countdown continues now with number 29 from Aretha Franklin, Something He Can Feel. Something He Can Feel. That's Aretha Franklin for the second week at number 29 on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. Well, you talk about overnight sensations. Take a look at the Brothers Johnson. Their first album, Look Out for Number 1, went gold in just 7 weeks after its release. And their first single hit number 1 on the soul chart and got all the way up to number 3 on the pop chart. 2 more cuts from the album are featured in the new Bill Cosby film, Mother, Jugs, and Speed. And down the street, back in their old neighborhood in Los Angeles, George and Louis Johnson are just about the biggest thing going. So big that a 10-foot mural of the brothers was painted on a wall across the street from their alma mater, Crenshaw High. This week, Crenshaw's Finest are down to number 28 on American Top 40 with their former Top 10 smash. Here's the Brothers Johnson, and I'll Be Good to You. That's the Brothers Johnson, down to number 28 with a song produced by Quincy Jones on American Top 40, I'll Be Good to You. This is Sonny Melendrez, sitting in for Casey Kasem, counting them down on American Top 40. We've got 27 hits to go, so stay right here. With the most popular songs in the USA, on our way to a brand new number one. I'm Sonny Melendrez, sitting in for Casey Kasem, who's on vacation this week. And this is American Top 40, and the countdown continues.
Number 27.
Here's Ralph, Chubby, Butch, Tiny, and Pooch. That's what the Tavares brothers call themselves. They're up to 27-3 on this week's survey, and what an unbelievable song. Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. The Tavares brothers. Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. This week, number 27, up 3 from last week on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. And they've hit us with 2 big ones already. Get Down Tonight, and That's the Way I Like It. This could be the 3rd big smash for Casey and the Sunshine Band. I love that title. Shake, Shake, Shake Your Booty. That's Casey and the Sunshine Band at number 26, up from 37 on American Top 40. I'm Sonny Melendrez for another Casey Kasem. And coming up, the current hit by a popular soul artist who got a standing ovation from a packed audience for the first song she ever sang in a nightclub. Which sounds like a great way to kick off a career, right? Well, she couldn't give the people the encore they wanted that night, because the only other songs she knew were gospel tunes.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
American Top 40 is heard coast to coast and around the world every week on great radio stations like WWRH, Columbus, Georgia, KTEE, Idaho Falls, Idaho, and Radio Avon, Christchurch, New Zealand. Well, the countdown moves on. We're at number 25 with a new song by a very sophisticated lady named Natalie Cole. Sophisticated Lady. That's Natalie Cole on American Top 40. Up to number 25, I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. And listen to the 3rd consecutive Top 40 hit to come out of the album by Fleetwood Mac. The last one made it to number 11, Rhiannon. This one is up to number 24. And the next voice you hear will belong to the girl who wrote it, Christine McVie. Fleetwood Mac on American Top 40. Up to number 24, that's Say You Love Me. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and now the current hit by a popular soul artist who got a standing ovation from a packed audience for the first song she ever sang in a nightclub. A pretty great way to kick off a career, right? Well, this artist says it wasn't all that easy. Her name is Candi Staton, and back in 1968, she was still dreaming about a career in music, doing her only public singing in a Birmingham, Alabama church. One night, Candy's brother took her to a nightclub, and she was invited on stage to sing. She was thrilled. It was a great opportunity. She got right up there, belted out her own version of Aretha Franklin's soul classic, Do Right Woman and Do Right Man. The audience loved it. They gave her a standing ovation, and when they stopped clapping and sat down, expecting to hear her sing another song or two, they were surprised when the young singer thanked them quietly and walked off stage. You see, the only other songs she knew were gospel tunes. Not exactly the kind of material that's guaranteed to hold a nightclub audience. So Candy went home, learned a couple of pop tunes, some soul songs, went back to the club, asked for a job, and she got it. And it wasn't long before she had a large, loyal following. Since then, she's been putting big hits on the national soul charts regularly. And this week, her latest pop hit is up to number 23 on AT40. Here's Candi Staton with Young Hearts Run Free.
What's the sense in chat? We don't love you.
You can mark that one at number 23. Up one from last week, that's Candi Staton and Young Hearts Run Free. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem on American Top 40, and we've got the 22 most popular songs in the country coming up.
Casey's Coast to Coast, American Top 40.
And now, the song that makes the biggest leap within the 40 this week, moving up 12 notches, this is Wild Cherry. Play that funky music. Wild Cherry on American Top 40. Up a big 12 notches at number 22 this week. From the Florida Everglades to the California Redwoods, you hear the nation's top 40 hits every week at this time on AT40. My name is Sonny Melendrez, and the countdown continues. You know, a lot of groups sell thousands of albums before ever making it on the singles chart. This group sold millions, and they're up to number 21 this week with a song called Last Child. Here's Aerosmith. That interesting sound comes from a Boston group who call themselves Aerosmith. At number 21 this week on American Top 40, that's Last Child. This is Sonny Melendrez, and we're counting down to a song by an artist who came to California to save his older brother, a well-known recording artist, from a strange religion the brother had joined. Well, not only did the artist fail in his rescue mission, but now he's a member of that same religion. His story is coming up.
The hits from coast to coast, American Top 40.
And the countdown moves on. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem. And the other night, at a club here in Hollywood called The Improv, there was a comedian on stage who gave his impression of what Beethoven would sound like laughing. He said, ha 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 ha! The Walter Murphy Orchestra on American Top 40. Up 3 to number 20 this week, a fifth of Beethoven. This is Sonny Melendrez, and now at number 19 in the countdown, a song by a man who followed his older brother to California 6 years ago to save him from a strange new religion the brother had joined. The older is Jim Seals of Seals and Crofts. The younger is Dan Seals of the duo known as England Dan and John Ford Coley. Well, Brother Jim left the Seals home back in Texas in the 1960s to come to California and make his mark as a musician. He hooked up with Dash Crofts, and they started hitting the charts in '72. But a few years before that, they had joined a Persian religion called Baha'i. The beliefs urge trust and faith among all men, and teach that man and woman should be considered and treated equally, and that prejudice must be eliminated. Well, at the time that Jim Seals joined the religion, not too much was known about it, and it sounded kind of weird to the family back in Texas. So Dan Seals took it upon himself to come out here and save his older but misguided brother. He was simply going to talk Jim into quitting this strange new religion. Well, Jim was plenty willing to talk. The two brothers spent a lot of hours together, and a couple of days later, Dan decided to join the Baha'i religion himself. The rescuer had become a believer. His partner, John Ford Coley, needed more time to be converted, like 2 years. But now he, too, is a Baha'i, and so is Parker McGee, the man who wrote their first hit single. It takes a leap of 9 notches up the chart this week. To number 19, here are England Dan and John Ford Coley. I'd really love to see you tonight.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not
England Dan and John Ford Coley. And I'd really love to see you tonight. Up to number 19 from 28 this week on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem, and the countdown continues as we get closer to a brand new number one record. Our next song is from a former number one album by Peter Frampton, a very talented 25-year-old who sings Baby, I Love Your Way.
Shadows grow so long, wanna tell you I love your way.
Baby, I Love Your Way. Climbing to number 18, 3 up from last week on American Top 40. That's Peter Frampton. This is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem. And from the Great Lakes to the Rio Grande, you hear the nation's top 40 hits every week at this time on American Top 40.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
This song's been on the 40 for a couple of months, and it's up to number 17. Keith Carradine, and I'm Easy.
It's not my way to how it ought to be, 'cause I'm easy.
Number 17 from Keith Carradine. That's I'm Easy. From Hollywood, this is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem on American Top 40. And the countdown doesn't stop until we get to a brand new number one. We're up to 16 now with the latest hit by Queen, You're My Best Friend. Holding on at number 16 for the second week in a row. That's Queen, and You're My Best Friend. You're listening to the nation's biggest hits by the world's biggest pop stars on American Top 40.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
This is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem, and don't put your dancing shoes away just yet, because here comes Parliament at number 15 with Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. What does that mean? Number 15 for the second week in a row. That's Parliament on American Top 40. And I'm Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem with a song from the number one album in the country. The album is Breezin'. The song is This Masquerade. This is George Benson. Leon Russell wrote that. George Benson sang it. This Masquerade is number 14 this week on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendres, sitting in for Casey Kasem, and we'll be right back. We've got the top 13 tunes in the USA yet to come, so stay right here. As we continue the countdown, I'd like to welcome 3 new members to the AT40 family of stations this week. WFTN Franklin, New Hampshire, KTTR Rolla, Missouri, and KFLG Flagstaff, Arizona. If you're hearing American Top 40 for the first time, my name is Sonny Melendres. I'm sitting in for Vacationing Casey Kasem. And welcome to our weekly countdown of the 40 most popular songs in America.
Number 13.
Well, here's Dan's older brother, Jim Seals, and his partner, Dash Crofts. And the third voice you'll hear belongs to Carolyn Willis on Get Closer. number 13, falling from number 6 last week. Seals and Crofts, Let's Get Closer on American Top 40. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and we're up to number 12 now with another big disco hit. This one from Vicki Sue Robinson, who got started as a singer and actress in two of the biggest rock musicals in history, Hair and Jesus Christ Superstar. She's also done some background vocals for other recording artists, including Todd Rundgren on his hit single, Hello, It's Me. This week, she moves up a couple of notches with her first top 40 hit as a solo artist. Here's Vicki Sue Robinson. Oh yeah, Vicki Sue Robinson and Turn the Beat Around on American Top 40, up to this week number 12. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and coming up, one of the most popular love songs of the year, a former number 1 smash that was inspired by a tray of spiced shrimp, fresh pâté and French bread, artichokes vinaigrette, and baked cheese with almonds.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
The last chart record by Neil Diamond was I've Been This Way Before. His latest moves up a notch this week to number 11, If You Know What I Mean. Neil Diamond. At number 11 this week, with a song produced by Robbie Robertson of the band on American Top 40, If You Know What I Mean. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and it's time now for one of the most popular love songs of the year. A former number 1 smash that was inspired by a tray of gourmet food. The whole musical concoction was the idea of singer-composer Bill Danoff, who told us this story recently. He says it all started about a year and a half ago when he and a member of his group were having lunch at a fancy Georgetown restaurant in Washington, D.C. It's called Clyde's, and for the past couple of years, they've had a special gourmet feature on their menu that's available only between the hours of 3:30 and 6 in the afternoon. It features 4 very special items: spiced shrimp, artichoke vinaigrette, fresh pâté with French bread, and baked brie cheese with slivered almonds. Altogether, it's described on Clyde's menu as the afternoon's delight. Well, Bill decided that it was not only a terrific snack, but a great title for a song. So he went home, whipped up a catchy melody, added a few spicy lyrics, and came up with the first chart hit for the Starland Vocal Band. This week, they're at number 10 with their very tasty former number 1 song, Afternoon Delight.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight.
Afternoon Delight.
The Starland Vocal Band at number 10 this week, Afternoon Delight on American Top 40. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and we're up to number 9 with the latest from a former blues singer from Chicago named Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls at his all-time best. You'll never find another love like mine. That's number 9 this week, and 3 hours once each week with American Top 40, and you know where your favorite records are on the national music scene. This is Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and we're counting down to a brand new number 1.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
This is Sonny Melendrez on American Top 40 with the former number 1 song by the Manhattans, Kiss and Say Goodbye.
I had to meet.
Last week's number 1 song this week is number 8, The Manhattans, and a farewell song for lovers on American Top 40. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and if you were in love back in 1966, you can certainly relate to this song. It's back to do it to us all over again. The Beatles at number 7, Got to Get You Into My Life.
I was alone, I took a ride. I could see another kind of mind.
The Beatles holding at number 7 for the 3rd week, Got to Get You Into My Life. I'm Sonny Melendrez on American Top 40 for Casey Kasem. We're counting down to a brand new number 1, and we've got the 6 biggest hits in the country coming up.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
And the countdown rolls on. We're up to number 6. I'm Sonny Melendrez for Casey Kasem, and this is what American Top 40 is all about.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll. Dance with me. If you wanna dance with me.
Chuck Berry should be proud. The Beach Boys singing his song on American Top 40. At number 6 this week, moving up a couple, that's rock and roll music. And this is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem. You know, about a year ago, the Bee Gees released an album called Main Course. And what a success it was. It produced 3 big hit singles for the group, including their number 1 smash, Jive Talkin'. Well, the Bee Gees haven't released their newest album yet, but their current single looks like another monster hit for the group. In just 4 weeks in the 40, they're already up to number 5. Here are the Bee Gees with You Should Be Dancing. With a beat like that, you should be dancing to the Bee Gees and the number 5 song this week on American Top 40. This is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem. And coming up, I've got the 4 big ones.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
American Top 40 is heard coast to coast and around the world each week on great radio stations like K108, Sacramento, California, WDRC, AM and FM, Hartford, Connecticut, and WLOF, Orlando, Florida. A few songs ago, we heard Paul McCartney singing lead for the Beatles on Got to Get You Into My Life. This time, he's in the pilot seat for Wings. At number 4, here's Let 'Em In. Definitely number 1 material from Paul McCartney and Wings. Up 6 to number 4 this week on American Top 40. And this is Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem. Now, before we hear the 3 most popular songs in the nation, let's see what's at the top of the other charts. On the soul chart, the number 1 song is Getaway by Earth, Wind and Fire. On the country chart, the number 1 song is Golden Ring by George Jones and Tammy Wynette. And number 1 best-selling album is Breezin' by George Benson. And now, at number 3 on American Top 40, here's Starbuck with Moonlight Feels Right.
The wind blew some luck in my direction. Moonlight feels right.
Second week in that position. At number 3, I guess the Moonlight still feels right for Starbuck. On American Top 40, I'm Sonny Melendres for Casey Kasem, and the artist who's had more number 1 records on the American charts than anyone else during the 70s is an English solo rock star. But he never had a number 1 single in his own country until he recorded a duet with a woman. Well, this week, that hit becomes the new number 1 song in America. It's coming up.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
Well, the first hit record by Gary Wright, Dreamweaver, peaked at number 2 on AT40, and it looks like this one's going to do just about the same. In the runner-up position for the second week in a row, here is Mr. Wright with Love Is Alive. Number 2 for the second week in a row, that's Gary Wright with Love Is Alive. This is Sonny Melendres on American Top 40 for Casey Kasem. And it's time now for the new number 1 song in America. It's by the biggest rock solo star of the 1970s, an artist who's had more number 1 singles during this decade than anybody else. He's an Englishman, but ironically, he never hit number 1 in his own country until 2 weeks ago. And he didn't do it his usual way, singing solo. This superstar's first time at number 1 on the British chart is on a duet with a woman. Well, this week, that record becomes his 6th time in the number 1 position on the American chart, a feat unequaled by any other act during this decade. And the lady who shares the spotlight with him on this current smash is a friend of his, Kiki Dee. Together, after only 4 weeks of climbing the 40, they now move into the top spot. Here it is, the most popular song in the country, the nation's new number 1. Don't Go Breaking My Heart by Kiki Dee and Elton John. And there you have it, the most popular song in America for the week ending August 7th, 1976. At number 1, that was Elton John and Kiki Dee with Don't Go Breaking My Heart. And that's it. The 40 best-selling hits in the nation, the way they're ranked in Billboard magazine. American Top 40 is produced and distributed by Watermark Incorporated. This is Sonny Melendrez, and I sure had a good time sitting in for one of my favorites, Casey Kasem, who's on vacation this week. He'll be back next week to count down the 40 most popular songs in the USA. Be sure to join him then.